I'm still just feeling like, I don't feel like I'm developing as a character anymore. I feel like I'm kind of just caught in the same issues and thought loops and concerns over and over and over again. And what can I do about this? And then I started to wonder, well, maybe I need to become my own villain. Completely unatmospherically, I seem to have abandoned my traditional, conventional dark background where, like, I don't like to turn on any of the lights because I just feel like it doesn't set the mood correctly. I've had to today because, like, outside it is like seriously dark as night. Let's get that elephant in the room out of the way. Yeah, great. Otherwise, what other elephant in the room do I need to address? Oh yeah, my voice. I have been like battling a cold, but like I don't feel sick. Like I feel fine. It's just like my voice is still like not quite up to scratch. Oh my God. Wow. Why? Maybe it's like sexy, you know, like this raspy voice. But I don't think so. It is very villainous though. Like, I guess there's that. Like, is it just lower my voice, just speak more calmly, more collectedly, and this is how I will truly become the villain in my own story. And so, how did this start? Well, I mean, how did this start? This started because, I don't know, I was probably on TikTok or something, and a video passed through my feed.
People that vibrate the highest are comfortably in their villain era.
Your villain era is here. No paragraphs, no over-explaining. Get clear on what you're okay and not okay with, and say it concisely.
Congratulations and welcome to the villain arc. It is the best arc of your life. But as someone who has been a lifelong villain, i.e. I've never had a people-pleasing era, I want to let you know what it is like to be a woman who prioritizes her opinions and her feelings over the opinions and feelings of others.
And I was like, well, nothing has been happening in my life these last 2 weeks because I've been sick. So I've had no stimuli, no interesting things going on. So I must have written it down as like, hey, here's something to talk about. So who is the villain? Well, the villain, I think, based on the videos I've seen, the villain is like the people-pleasing or formerly people-pleasing woman, usually. I feel like this villain era content is almost exclusively directed at women. So the villain, though, she doesn't care what other people think. She's going to live her life according to her own dictates. She is the master of her own destiny, and she doesn't care what other people think about that. So, like the good little academic that I am, I mean, not, but pretended to be for years and years, I went up and read up on hero-villain dynamics, the narrative function of the villain, and the villain, it turns out, kind of operates so the hero can learn something about themselves. The villain does something very well that the hero perhaps doesn't do well, or the villain challenges the hero, forces them to come out of a period of stasis and to step into their true potential, their true purpose in life. And so, basically, like when you are applying the villain narrative to your own life, I guess, well, you can do it by becoming the villain in someone else's story, which basically seems to be just like set boundaries, prioritize yourself. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I see that. I also see, though, how this could be misconstrued to just like, hey, just be super selfish. And I'm like, no, just like, I don't think that's right. Like, don't take like a villain era as your license to not be friendly to people on a basic level, or like not help people in your life. Like, I don't think that's what boundaries are supposed to mean. I think boundaries are more like when someone's taking advantage of you, exploiting you, to say, hey, wait, this is doing me harm and I need to stop this. And like, here's the thing though, when I moved to New York, I had several villainous figures in my life who I needed to basically cut ties with because like they were really damaging to my well-being. They asked a lot of me and gave me not a lot in return. And so I already like did that thing where it's like, I guess I became the villain in their story by not giving them what they wanted any longer. I guess I then became my own hero. And so by prioritizing yourself in terms of others, you, I guess, become the villain in someone else's story because you're not doing for them what they might expect of you. Maybe I've been the villain in other people's stories and therefore become the hero in my own. And maybe by being their villain based on like hero villain theory, I also maybe helped them become their own heroes as well, because maybe they learned from their actions, and whatever I did in becoming their villain helped them become better, less exploitative people. And I have no idea, actually. That's the thing about cutting ties, is you never do find out. And then I guess I also kind of then by extension became the hero in my story, where I could then chart my course into the future and do what I wanted. But now this is all very inspiring, and I definitely see how this could be relevant to the life of the classic people pleaser. You know, to suddenly stop giving the people what they want. Ooh, it's very bold. It's very bold. And now I think, though, that as I contemplate my own villain era, I think, in fact, I've already done that establishing of boundaries. Like, I've already cut some of the negative forces from my life, like primarily in terms of like past work situations and stuff. Like, I got rid of that already. I got rid of the forces of negativity. I got rid of the people who just wanted to exploit me for all I was worth. I set those boundaries, often in like not the best and, you know, most pleasing ways to other people. Like yeah, so it's like I'm done with that. But the thing is, like, the thing that I noticed though is even now that like I'm supposed to be in this phase in my life where I am just doing my own thing. I am living only according to my own rules. Well, somehow the feeling of freedom still just has not set in. I don't know why. My course started to stagnate a bit. I just found myself going along. I mean, yeah, I'm not worrying so much about people pleasing anymore, but I'm still just feeling like, I don't feel like I'm developing as a character anymore. I feel like I'm kind of just caught in the same issues and thought loops and concerns over and over and over again. And what can I do about this? And then I started to wonder, well, maybe I need to become my own villain. I need to take my stagnant hero and incite some action, breathe some new life into her boring existence. And this is where actually like being sick somehow really came in. It's really taught me some stuff. So let me set the scene. About a week and a half ago, I woke up and thought, I have a little bit of a sore throat. Like, that's not good, is it? It just was really unpleasant. I was tired. I was like, I don't want to do anything. Everything is a chore. And so, you know what? Like, I just didn't. I know. Like, for like a week and a half, like, I was pretty much just like, I'm going to sleep as long as I want. I still had my 7 a.m. alarm set, but I did not wake up at 7. I just turned it off, and just went back to sleep and slept until I didn't want to sleep anymore. I, didn't really go outside. I didn't really do any exercise. Like, I just was like a lump for a week and a half. And now this is like, to my hero, the hero in me, oh my God, like terrible bad behavior, like all around breaking all my own rules. Like, why? How dare I? And like internally I was cringing. I was like, oh dear. Oh, I'm not doing enough. Am I? Like, this is secretly bad. But then though, all this time passes and I'm just like, yeah, you know what? My life didn't implode. I'm fine. I feel fine. I don't sound fine, but I feel fine. Whatever progress I haven't made on my personal creative projects, well, that is just progress I simply haven't made. It doesn't bother me too much. It hasn't set me too devastatingly behind schedule on whatever I'm trying to do, and I'm just like, okay, so it was okay, it was okay. And so maybe like that's what my inner villain taught me, is that I could just give in to my basest instincts and the world would not fall apart. I can let myself relax a bit more and the world does not fall apart. And I think it's helping me, the hero in my own story and also the villain in my own story, to unlearn kind of all of that, pseudo corporate goals and targets and metrics based ways of working that I internalized when I moved to New York. And it's allowed me to see a new way of being in the world. And that's kind of a revelation. I think fundamentally, though, I learned that it's okay to dial it back. It's okay to take it slow. And that's what giving into all of like my forbidden desires in this week of illness has taught me. So yeah, I guess I can say in summation, I had a week of illness-induced self-indulgence and coming out of it with a marginally altered perspective. Hey, here's to the villain version of me, and maybe now I'm also the hero version of me. I'm everything and nothing all at once.